Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Diana Jaraba Ramirez. My motivation to engage in reflecting and rethinking the English curriculum at San Antonio Abad was to find out why my indigenous students didn't like to learn English. So I didn't understand why they didn't like to participate in class, why they often skip English class, or why they didn't like to do their assignment. They felt English didn't have a purpose in the rural context. These situations made me feel terribly as an English teacher, of course, because I think that the most important goal as a teacher is to get your students learn without pressure in an engaged environment, without pushing contents that may actually be meaningless to them. Students have to feel what they learn in class is meaningful. They have to feel happy and confident in class. This situation made me ask myself many questions about finding a way to engage my indigenous students and help them learn English meaningfully. When I began my teacher education program, I thought I only had to learn how to teach my students English grammar and use some teaching skill so they could be able to assess the economic, educational or social benefits associated with English. However, in my university, I had good teachers who helped me be a proactive student teacher because we usually had to plan engaging English classes in order to be considered competent English teachers in our career. We had an activity called Teacher Rally, and in this activity we had to plan and teach several micro lessons, and I always tried to show my abilities, planning the best classes in my practicum. Likewise, my first English classes were always in public schools, where students commonly lack motivations, and there is also often a lack of didactic and economic resources. This helped me become sensitive to my students' realities, their needs, and their problems. But it was a different situation to begin to teach my indigenous students. I realized I was not prepared to teach these children. Nobody in my teacher education program had taught me how to do it. At the beginning, as an English teacher in my indigenous school, I thought to develop my English classes as I had done in other public schools. But later I understood that I was not enabled to engage my indigenous students, and I didn't know anything about their life or their customs either. I was in a classroom where students did not perceive learning English as an important thing, as an important class. I felt very upset with these situations. If no English helped me to become aware of my difficulties and abilities as a teacher and realize the need to open my mind to develop strategies which have taken into account the cultural patterns of our students as a main goal in my daily work. The main question that I asked myself was, what kind of tasks would engage in students and help them learn English in a way that is meaningful and reflect their interests and local reality? In order to find an answer to these questions, I got heavily involved into the indigenous community in order to learn more about where they live, their culture, as well as their needs. In doing this, I learned that the most important cultural and economic activity for them is canoe weaving, for doing art and craft, which uses a natural fiber named caña flecha, or in English, the arrow cane palm. The caña flecha use the leaf, which are cut, deveined, scraped, dry, dyed, woven, and finally sewn to make bags, earrings, rings, and other craft, for example, el sombrero volteado. So I realized that the Zenú community liked talking about this activity. However, they chose not to say or share much about it outside their community. Based on this research, we developed a strategy named New English, which uses the Zenú weaving discourses to motivate our indigenous students to speak English in a spontaneous and meaningful way. My identity as an English teacher at San Antonio de Abad before and after in English. At the beginning of the process of implementing the strategy in English, my student perceived me as a foreign person who didn't have any idea about needs or realities. So I knew if I wanted to break with these biases, I would have to get involved into my student lives and try to understand their behaviors in and out the school. I had to think, feel, act, and talk as they did it in their indigenous context. Little by little, I got their confidence and they felt that I understood them and I wouldn't never laugh at them because I had been in their indigenous community for a long time making some important things for them. The largest volteado had in 2009 with more 600 indigenous people such as parents, teachers, indigenous leaders who told me to feel as a Zenú Indian. So I understand as a teacher that the most important is know who your students are before starting to design your curriculum or your plan of classes, because they could teach you more what you have learned in a university. My student told me to be more sensitive and responsible for my actions with them. Nowadays, indigenous boys and girls feel that I listen to them without seeing if I have a different skin color, particular cultural features, high studies, and a particular economic position, or a woman in this case, because they feel that I treat them as a human beings which needs only a chance to say to everybody who they are and what they may or feel. They need to say that they have much cultural features that they want to share with you. Thank you.